In March 2024, Princess Kate was diagnosed with cancer. She kept it private for months, protecting her 3 children and processing the news quietly with William at her side. When she finally told the world in a video message on March 22, Harry and Meghan found out from television, at the same time as everyone else. Not a private call before the announcement, not a message. Television. The Times of London confirmed it on March 23. Kate's cancer diagnosis was not shared in advance with Harry and Meghan. A family source told People magazine shortly after, "There is clearly no trust." That single statement tells you more about this relationship than any interview, any memoir, or any documentary ever could. And it raises the question that millions of people have been asking ever since. How did two sisters-in-law, once described as the Fab Four by the British press, get here? Stay with me, because the answer is not one moment. It is a pattern. And once you see it, it cannot be unseen. To understand where Kate's trust ended, you need to go back to where it began to crack. Royal author Russell Myers, in his book William and Catherine, The Intimate Inside Story, published in 2026, confirmed that Kate and William were left deeply wounded by Harry and Meghan's 2021 Oprah Winfrey interview. Myers reported that sources close to Kate described a woman who felt, from that point forward, that Harry and Meghan could simply not be trusted. Those words, sources close to Kate say, became something she held privately and permanently. But according to royal author Omid Scobie, writing in Endgame, Kate's reservations about Meghan actually dated back even further, to the very beginning. To the earliest days of Harry and Meghan's relationship, when Kate watched someone new enter a world she had spent years learning to navigate and felt something she could not publicly name. She said nothing publicly. She followed protocol. She smiled at the cameras and stood beside Meghan on the balcony and wore her hat at the right angle and did everything a Princess of Wales is trained to do. And privately, according to every source who has spoken on record, she was already building walls. In 2018, the British press reported that Kate had made Meghan cry during a disagreement about bridesmaid dresses before Harry and Meghan's wedding. The story was published. It circulated. It became part of the public record. Kate could not deny it. Royal protocol does not permit a Princess of Wales to call a newspaper and set the record straight about a private family disagreement. So she stayed silent. And the story stood. For 3 years, Kate carried that story publicly. Then, in March 2021, Meghan sat down with Oprah Winfrey in front of 49 million viewers and brought it up again. Meghan said she had been the one who cried, not Kate. That Kate had made her cry. That she had the evidence. Kate was named on global television in a conversation she had no ability to respond to through official channels. Then in Spare, published in January 2023, Harry added further detail. He wrote that the disagreement had begun when Meghan said Kate had baby brain, a comment that offended Kate, who had given birth to Prince Louis just weeks before the wedding. In Harry's account, Kate had been the one at fault. Again, the story pointed in one direction. This is where something fundamental shifted in Kate. Not in anger, in understanding. She understood, with absolute clarity, that private family moments would be used, that silence would be filled by someone else's version of events, and that her name could be placed in any story for any audience without her consent. In December 2022, Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary flew to the top of the global charts. Footage of royal events, of the institution, of the world Kate had given her entire adult life to building carefully and quietly, was used as the backdrop for a story about feeling unwelcome and unsupported. Kate watched her life used as scenery, her wedding, her public engagements, her family's world, all of it presented as evidence of coldness, of institutional failure, of a family that had not done enough. Royal experts noted widely at the time that Kate had no power over what footage was used, what narrative was applied, or how she would be perceived by a global audience who had just watched a 6-part documentary telling them the royal family had failed Harry and Meghan. Omid Scobie noted in Endgame that by this point, Kate's feelings about Meghan had hardened from private reservation into something significantly more settled. Something that sources said had moved beyond hurt and into a place much harder to reach. If you want to understand the full picture of what is happening inside the royal family right now, subscribe. We go this deep every single week. And what comes next in this story, you will not want to miss. March 2024. Kate had been recovering quietly from abdominal surgery since January. Tests during that surgery revealed cancer had been present. She and William processed the news privately. She began chemotherapy. She told no one outside of her immediate circle. When she finally made her announcement to the world in a video filmed at Windsor, the palace had not called Harry in advance. Kate had not called Harry in advance. He found out from television. The Times of London confirmed this. Multiple sources confirmed this. A family source told People magazine directly, "There is clearly no trust." Royal historian Richard Fitzwilliams told Time magazine, "It speaks volumes that Harry and Meghan learned of the diagnosis from the news." The day before Kate made her announcement, she had a private lunch with King Charles, who was also undergoing cancer treatment at the time. She chose to share that moment with Charles. She chose not to share it with Harry. That decision was not made in a moment of panic or grief. It was made deliberately by a woman who had watched what happens when she extends trust in this family's direction. It was the clearest signal yet of where she stood. While Kate was undergoing chemotherapy in 2024, fighting cancer privately and protecting her children from the full weight of what their mother was facing, Harry was giving media interviews. Meghan was filming her Netflix lifestyle series. According to royal author Christopher Anderson, whose reporting has been cited across multiple major outlets, the final breaking point for Kate came when Harry publicly speculated about King Charles's cancer during a media interview. Kate, herself a cancer patient at that time, watched Harry discuss a family member's serious illness in public for an audience. Anderson reported that this was the moment Kate told William she was finished with bridge building. No more encouragement toward patients, no more quiet hope that things might improve. She was done. For a woman who had spent years trying to hold space for reconciliation, who had encouraged William toward openness, who had believed privately that the family could find its way back to each other, this was the end of that belief. So what is the real reason Kate will never trust Harry again? It is not the Oprah interview alone. It is not the bridesmaid dress story alone. It is not the Netflix documentary or the memoir or the media interviews. Each one of those was painful, but together, they form a pattern that Kate has seen clearly and completely. Every time Kate or her family extended privacy, silence, or dignity, it was used. The private moments of the royal family became a Netflix documentary. The physical altercation became a memoir. The cancer of a family member became a talking point in an interview. And when Kate herself was fighting cancer, at her most private and her most vulnerable, the choice was made not to tell Harry. Not because no one thought of it. Because of what experience had taught her would happen if they did. Royal author Russell Myers confirmed in his 2026 book that Kate felt Harry and Meghan could not be trusted. That was not a feeling born of the Oprah interview. It was confirmed by it. Then confirmed again by the Netflix documentary. Then confirmed again by Spare. Then came the cancer announcement, reinforcing what Kate had already learned. 4 times, something deeply private had been exposed, and each time, her trust weakened. Sources close to the palace say her position is now settled. Not bitter, not angry, settled. Kate is now cancer-free and confirmed her remission in September 2024. She returned to public life, appeared at Wimbledon with Princess Charlotte, and received a standing ovation. She rebuilt her health, her family, and her role without restoring trust in Harry and Meghan. The trust was not lost in one moment. It disappeared over time until Kate finally accepted that it was gone. Subscribe, because Kate's story is far from over.